Good evening, Alex. The former president put out a statement this evening saying that Mar-a-Lago was being, quote, raided and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. It's unclear what investigation this could be linked to, perhaps the boxes of documents that were retrieved earlier this year by the National Archives.
Cassie, let's go into this. Democrats from California, they say this is an issue that really could potentially decide the election. We've been talking about it now for a few months. What say you?
Well, Democrats are using this as fuel against Republicans in their elections. They're using it in their campaign ads. Republicans, meanwhile, are trying to shy away from it because they're worried that it could endanger their chances of taking both the House and the Senate come November. Usually the president's party loses seats in a midterm election.
But this is an unusual year.
This is an unusual year, and experts that I've spoken with said the playbook kind of goes out the window here because it's difficult to predict what will happen when you have a case like the overturning of Roe versus Wade motivating people to get out and vote. Maybe people haven't been registered or haven't voted in a while, and this is an issue that will drive them to the ballot box. Ultimately, we won't know until Election Day, but I think that this is going to be an election like we've never seen before.
Cassie Semyon is outside the Supreme Court this morning ahead of today's oral arguments. Good morning, Cassie. Break down what's at stake here with this case.
Well, Giselle, this case isn't just about pork, though the National Pork Producers Council is the one bringing this case. This case, depending on the justice's decision, could have impacts on California's emission laws and other states' laws across the country. This is a huge race because Mike Garcia and Christy Smith have faced off not once, not twice, but 3 times now for this seat. And Smith only lost in 2020 by 333 votes, making it a seat Democrats see as flippable in hopes of holding off Republicans from taking the House. This is really a trickle down of national politics to the local level. Congresswoman Young Kim is really following in the footsteps of the House Republican caucus, running on issues such as inflation, immigration, and crime, while her opponent, Dr. Asif Mahmood, is really focusing on health care and specifically abortion rights as Democrats try and flip this seat from red to blue. Well, Calvin, we're learning a lot of alarming new details in this 8-page filing about that incident that happened at the Pelosi home last Friday, including that DePape thought he was fighting tyranny and that he wanted to hold the speaker hostage. Although McCarthy is the likely next choice to become the Speaker of the House, he'll have to make sure he has the support of his caucus because if you'll recall in 2015, he was blocked from becoming Speaker after the Freedom Caucus decided not to endorse his candidacy. He's hoping to avoid a repeat of that this time around.
Tonight, you were able to confirm some news this afternoon about Burbank Congressman Adam Schiff. I understand he's no longer pursuing House leadership. Is that right?
That's correct. So a source familiar with the decision confirmed to me that Adam Schiff has decided not to run for House leadership. Instead, he's eyeing a potential run for Senate if, and this is the key here, if Senator Dianne Feinstein decides not to run in 2024. I reached out to Feinstein's team to see if she had made a decision whether or not to run for re-election and what that timeline would look like for that decision. A spokesman told me nothing to report yet. So the 2024 election season has officially begun, Renee. I know we are not over 2022 yet, that there's still a couple races to be called in California, but here on Capitol Hill, 2024 has very much begun.